Ni Ming Hao, Kevin Garnett. I am back in Taiwan.
I'm so glad to have you here because I believe this is your third time in Taiwan and the last.
It's my second time, I think.
Second time.
Yes, that I can remember.
And the last time I think it's the 2002, right?
Yes, very long time. Yes.
Do you still remember?
I do. Chauncey and I came over for a tour. I'm not sure. Y'all don't even know who he was with. I think it maybe been with Adidas or something, but. We came over here, had a basketball activation. It was very fun.
And what is your impression of Taiwan?
As far as the basketball enthusiasts, they love the game. I love people who have passion. I was not shocked on them knowing players and where we come from and our stats and all that, but they were fans. I loved the enthusiasm. We got to watch a couple guys play or whatever. They was playing hard. But all in all, man, anytime I go somewhere and I get to, interact with fans that appreciate the game and, have been following the game for so long, just another testament to the growth of the game and how we've been able to be universal. So it's cool.
Yeah, you play for Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And at that time, you were not just famous, but phenomenal to worldwide basketball fans. So how do you evaluate the 12-year journey with Timberwolves?
Well, I look at my days with the T-Wolves as a young man learning the game. Coming into the league, the T-Wolves took a big risk on me and helping me develop. To this day, I'm still a hard worker. I'm still a dreamer. But yeah, I look at my days as Minnesota as someone that was learning and growing and being able to be put in situations where I can learn how to be a leader. And I learned my leadership skills from Minnesota. I learned from great vets like Sam Mitchell, Terry Porter, Doug West, those guys, J.R. Ryder, helping me, learn how to be a leader early on. Second and third year, I started to hit my own kind of stride, became an all-star, and my goal from that point was to never turn back, to always have, all-star numbers and have all-star aspirations. So I started to grow my game from there, but Minnesota will always play a very, very dear place in my heart as far as how I developed as a player.
You made it to the franchise first time West Conference Finals. And do you think that in 2003 and 4 squad with the Sam Cassell, etc., should have won the championship?
I do. I think the 2003-2004 team in Minnesota was good enough to win it. We was playing against an adept team with the Lakers and Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, that is a tough match.
That's very tough, right? But I thought we fought the Lakers the best way we could. Not having Sam Cassell actually hurt us. 2004, we didn't have Sam Cassell. He hurt his hip. And then what made it even more tough is that we didn't get to take that team and bring it back. We didn't get to add on to that team. I think they traded Sam after that. I think Spreewell quit playing and retired. And it was just a tough time, but that was a magical year for myself. Very, very, 03-04 was one of the years I actually thought we was gonna win it.
And speaking of magical season, I believe the T-Wolves this last season have also the same experience. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I was heartbroken when they actually traded Carl. I actually thought that he and Ant was a great tandem, young tandem. It's very rare you get to give a big man and a young guard together,
Yeah.
But I guess that's how it goes in the league, and that's the business of it. But shout out to both of them. I think Minnesota's going to do great things with Randall and DiVincenzo being there.
Yeah.
And I think Carl Anthony Towns is going to do well in New York. So, shout out to both of those guys.
And even though the Minnesota kind of fell short last season, but there's another team that you've been on win the championship. That is Boston Celtics. So did you expect that?
The Seeds just are really good. Getting some time to spend with those guys and sit, and they want more. I wanted to see how they react off of winning, right? And coming back to, I just saw them in Abu Dhabi for some preseason games, and they're just as hungry as they were a couple years ago, or if not last year. So I see them repeating, if I'm being honest. They have a two-guard front that I just think in the fourth quarter is just unstoppable, with that being with Holiday and D. White. I love Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown being a tandem superstar that they have, and then Porzingis gives them this great advantage at the top with Al Horford coming in. I just love. I love the Celtics, man. If they can stay healthy, I think they have a really good chance of repeating. But so much going on in the East with you got Milwaukee, you got a better Philly, you got a better Orlando, you got a better Cleveland, you got better Knicks.
Yeah.
So it should be fun, man. Definitely gonna be one. It's gonna be a dope year this year.
How special is the 2008 championship for you? Because that is your first career champ.
Yeah.
And after you win it all, you scream out loud, everything's possible. So I'm wondering what's the story behind that night?
I think, being in a position where you can ultimately be in a position to win your dream or be part of your dream. The anything's possible moment was something that came to me in the moment, and that's what it was. And when I watched Jason Tatum being his moment, it was the same thing with we did it. And it's the same philosophy of being able to climb this mountain and get knocked down and climb this mountain and then get knocked down and finally climb the mountain and actually be the winner and be the victor on top of the hill. It means everything. So this 08 was a magical year for all of us. I was no different from that. And shout to the Celtics this year. 224 champions, winning banner 18. It's time for a dynasty, doggone it. I think they got the next couple years, but we'll see.
And 2008 Celtics opponents is the Lakers, and then you played against them again in 2010, and your opponent is Kobe Bryant, the late great legend. And both of you guys share one thing in common, that is you are all famous and phenomenal high school players in NBA history. What kind of the role or meaning that Kobe Bryant has for you?
First off, shout to Bean, man. Rest in peace to the great Bean. Kobe was another level, man. We both spoke the same language when it came to basketball. We was coming from the Michael Jordan era. Felt like this was our time, not just myself, but with AI, obviously playing in the league with Shaq and other great players like Tim Duncan, Rasheed Wallace, so on and so on. Carving yourself, carving out your niche and creating your character, who you're going to be in this whole thing, in this fraternity that we call the NBA. We were able to not only connect on another level, but we wanted to dominate the game, if I'm being honest. We wanted to be the best. We both was admirers of Michael Jordan, and Mike Jordan brought a certain seriousness to the game that we all kind of picked off of, and a certain piece of professionalism that we all picked off of, a certain piece of relentlessness when it came to working out and being the greatest and chasing your dreams. We really was locked into that. And that's where he and I connected, you know what I'm saying? It was never a dull moment where we wasn't being competitive.
Yeah.
It was never a dull moment when I saw him. There was always love. And it made the matchups even more intense when we met on the floor. But man, shout to Bean, man. He was a real friend, somebody I looked up to and was a personal friend, someone that I could have a real conversation with.
Yeah, I think his competitiveness is the reason why downstairs you rank in the top 5 history of all NBA. So I have the tougher question for you.
Okay.
What's your top 5 ranking for power forwards in the NBA history?
Man, that was a crazy question. I wasn't ready for that one. I always got to go Jack Sigma. Jack Sigma was probably he's the king of the face-up, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was like the Jordan of the power forward, and a very relentless shout to Chuck, Sean Kemp, Rasheed Wallace, obviously Tim Duncan. For myself, I can go through Joe Smith, I can go through Dice, I can go through Chris Bosh.
So many names.
Yeah, Zach Randolph, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard. It was just a ton of talent. Tom Chambers. I mean, guys that I respected at the 4, that Buck Williams, guys who Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason.
Would you rank yourself in the top 10 all the time or top 5?
Yeah, I would only rank myself in the top 10 just because I know me. I don't know the other guys. I've only saw their body of work, and I know how hard I work, and I don't know that from other guys. But if I'm admiring, I admire my elders and guys that came before me, the Bill Willoughbys, and so many people that laid the pathway so that I had an opportunity. So yeah, I would like to always give a homage to the greats who laid the path for us.
The reason why this question is so tough is because you witnessed so many legends, and one of them I would like to bring out is Vince Carter, because you might be the closest witness of Vince Carter's the dunk of the best. So what is your reaction back at the time?
I think out of everybody on the floor, I had like the best view in the house. I was sitting front row, and he came from a diagonal, and it was kind of like was kind of like looking like this, and I saw it actually gather and end up here, and it come all the way here and end at the rim.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually thought the big guy was going to challenge him. You know, I thought he was either going to try to block it, and when I saw him actually put his hand up, I saw Vince like cock it back a little more, and I was like, oh snap, he's finna try to dunk on this. And then I saw the big guy kind of go from a block to like a curl, like he balled up. And when he balled up, he kind of turned, and that is when he came down. I did not know that Vince was going to jump over him.
Yeah,
and that's why you see me go, I'm in the picture looking like this, but yeah, I was like, yeah, and I missed him like this and kind of moving.
Missed by inches.
That was one of the more magical moments. I had played with a guy in high school by the name of Ronnie Fields who had some unbelievable ups. Vince was no different. He had some incredible ups, and he was also 6'6", 6'7", so he was tall. But Vince Carter is probably one of the more aerial guys I've ever seen be relentless, not just with air control, but body control, being able to get bumped in the air, control it, have English. I think too, the fact that Vince Carter was a great dunker, a great game dunker, I think took away from his overall game. Vince Carter was a hell of a player. He was like a video game, you know, R1 and Turbo, and I played him a couple times, man, and yeah, they would, when the league started putting threes at fours and fours had to guard threes, yeah, he was one of the more difficult guards. He was very difficult. But yeah, man, shout out to Vince Carter. I know he's going in the Hall of Fame this year. Well deserving of one of the greatest players in our league that we don't give enough homage to just because, probably because he didn't win, but man, he's the human highlight every night, and I look forward to seeing him play every night and seeing what he was going to do next. But yeah, shout out to Vince Carter, man.
And his jersey is going to be retired by the Nets and the Raptors.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, the Nets are going to do it too? That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to him, man. Good for him, because he earned it, man. I thought with his impact in Toronto changed the whole view of basketball culture, and I think what he did for Toronto as a city and making it what it is today, on top of, you know, Drake and The Weeknd and Tory Lanez blowing up the music scene. I thought Vince Carter curated and brought a different light to Toronto basketball than which we see today.
Is he your top one dunker all time?
It's hard to say. It's hard to take Vince over Michael Jordan, right?
Yes, that's true.
We're talking in-game, right? So my top three in-game dunkers got to be Michael Jordan, probably Vince Carter, and Dominique Wilkins. You know, and I love Charles Barkley.
Fair.
Charles Barkley had some great in-game dunks. He was a great in-game dunker. Clyde Drexler was a great in-game dunker. Kobe Bryant was a great in-game. Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, 1 and 2.
Yeah, and last but not least, after retiring, because I saw you on self-media and trying to be the host, and so what kind of impact you're trying to bring to the game that you love, the basketball, after you retire?
Well, KG Certified is about creating KG Certified is about having a platform in which I can talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. Political issues, basketball, sports, fashion, food, whatever, leisure, lifestyle, whatever it is. And I think that it's important these days when you're an athlete that has influence and has fans to be able to have your own platform, to be able to speak about certain things that come from your heart and things that mean something to you. And coming out of the league, I want to be able to have a platform that I can grow, someday give to my kids that they can have, something that I can grow and bring others and bring attention to. So we've done a couple live streams, we've done a couple free watches and stuff that we're going to continue to do. But I am having some dope conversations with some cool people. So yeah, KG Certified, make sure y'all check that out, all right?